What's going on, guys? M1Finance here. Welcome back to the channel. For this video, just excuse my voice. It is a little bit raspy. I started losing my voice, but I set a goal, a video every single Thursday, and that's what we're going to stick with, pending no emergencies. So today's video is going to be about 5 things that I would change or maybe do a little bit better if I could go back in time and fix some of my financial decisions from when I was younger. I'm 31 years old now, and from 20 to about 27, I made a lot of bad decisions or poor choices when it came to managing my finances. I'm not in a terrible situation right now. I'm actually in a pretty good situation. However, I could be in a much better situation if I had done things a little bit differently. So we're gonna talk about 5 mistakes that I made. And if you're a younger viewer, you watch this video and you realize that the younger you are, the more opportunity and the more time you have to better set yourself up for financial success in the future. So let's get right into the video. So the first mistake I made was living paycheck to paycheck and not properly planning for retirement. Now, when I say living paycheck to paycheck, that doesn't mean that I was poor. I actually had a good job. I was continually moving my way up in management through a company and everything was going well. However, I fell into a common problem that a lot of people have where the more money I made, the more money I spent. Every time I got a raise, I inflated my lifestyle a little bit. I was spending all of the money that I had. Now, luckily, my parents taught me at a really young age the importance of not going into debt. So, I had credit cards and I was taking advantage of them. However, I wasn't saving or planning for retirement. I was doing the minimum 401k contribution and that's it. I could have done so much more, and honestly, my life would not have changed that much. So really, one tip that my parents always gave me was anytime you get a raise, maybe it's 2% or 3%, take 1% of that and put it into your retirement savings and then keep the other for yourself. So you're still getting a raise, but you're also saving more for retirement. You won't even notice that the money's gone. Before you know it, maybe in 10 years, maybe you'll be maxing out your 401k without ever really changing the amount of money you're making on a weekly or monthly basis. Now, the second thing that I would change if I could go back, or maybe just do this a little bit less, was spending a ridiculous amount of money on nightlife, clubbing, going to bars, drinking, partying, all that kind of stuff. Now, when you're young, I think it's good to get that stuff out of your system. However, I think that some of my friends and we may have went a little bit overboard. I was paying an extremely low amount of rent. I had a low car payment at the time, and all of my extra money was just being spent on Thursday nights, Friday nights, Saturday nights, going out, drinking, having fun. A lot of those days I'd wake up feeling like shit, look at my credit card statement and be like, man, I can't believe I spent that much money. But then I'd go out and do the exact same thing again that same night. Now that I'm older, I have a wife, a kid, I gotta admit, I love waking up on Sunday mornings, sipping on my coffee, maybe I do a little bit of yoga, do something active. My wife and I will go walk the dog, we'll take the baby for a walk, and it feels amazing. And I never have a hangover, I never wonder where all my money went, and my money actually grows, so it doesn't get any better than that. Now, I still go out and do social things, I still go out for drinks with my bros, I still go out for drinks with the wife and stuff. I just mean in excess. Everything is good in moderation. So if I could go back and make a change, I would just reduce the amount that I did. Okay, so the third thing, and this is probably the most embarrassing and the worst, and my parents are probably gonna be like, what the hell are you doing, Matthew? But I spent at least $10,000 on digital in-game content. So what I mean by that is gambling on loot crates in Call of Duty, trying to get new camos, spending money on cosmetics in Fortnite, stuff that in reality doesn't actually bring any benefit to your life. All it is just spending money on something that maybe don't make you feel good because you have something that someone else doesn't have, or you had the money to buy something, but at the end of the day, it didn't really bring me any value. Mostly it was an addiction that I liked gambling to try to get the newest weapons and the newest camos in Call of Duty, and that is not a good thing. It's surprising that this stuff is even legal, but there's nothing I can do about that. So yeah, digital in-game content in terms of expansions or increased content, I think that's great. But when it's just cosmetics, it's not something that we should be spending our money on, and that's definitely something I would go back and change if I had the opportunity to. The last thing I'll say about that is if you're buying skins or whatever it is you're gambling for in Call of Duty, moderation is okay. Just don't let it become an addiction, because that's when it gets bad. So the fourth thing that I spend a lot of money on, or too much money on, if I can go back in the past, I'd probably make some changes, is expensive cars. So just like I talked about inflating my lifestyle before, every time that I was promoted at work, I'd go out and buy a nicer, better car. I had a brand new paid off car when I was 19 years old, and I could have taken advantage of not having any payments, but instead I went and bought a motorcycle, and then I bought another motorcycle, and then another car. It was a pretty nice Mercedes. And then I upgraded the Mercedes to a brand new Lexus coupe. And all those cars were awesome, but I was spending so much money. And yes, I was making good money, but not enough money to warrant paying for those things. I do believe in delayed gratification. I didn't back then, but now I'm gonna try to go for a little bit without a car payment. And in the future, yes, my wife and I will buy a nice sports car and it's gonna be awesome. But when you're younger, nobody expects you to be driving around in a really nice car. So in your 20s, kind of like Graham Stefan says, take advantage of being able to be broke and invest your money because nobody's judging you. But when you're older, if you care about that stuff, then maybe that'll be the right time to have some nicer things. All right, and the fifth thing and the last thing is just overall being uneducated on investments. My dad did a really good job teaching me a lot of stuff, and he knows everything I talk about in these videos, and he's preached a lot of this stuff to me. But when I was younger, I didn't pay attention. I always struggled paying attention, and just as a thick-headed kid would say, someone can tell me what to do and then I just go do something else. So a good example of that is an HSA. I had an HSA. I was getting over $1,000 a year from my company into the HSA, and I was depositing my own money into the HSA, but I wasn't investing any of it. I was using it for medical things when I really didn't need to. Whenever I had a medical issue come up, I used that card. I thought that would be the best way to handle it. However, now I know that an HSA is a triple tax advantage account that you can invest. You can almost treat it like a 401k, and you really should only take money out of your HSA if you absolutely have to. If you can afford to pay for your medicine or your doctor's visits out of pocket, then do that because you can let your HSA grow tax-free. So all in all, I've made tons of terrible mistakes with my money. I spent tons of money on booze, on women, cars, all the mistakes that probably a lot of kids make. However, for some of my younger viewers, maybe you'll see this video and hopefully it'll help you in some kind of way. So if you like the video, or if you want to tell me about your own experiences, things you might regret, or things that you thought were shocking about what I spent my money on, let me know down below. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We do weekly videos every Thursday at 3:15 p.m. and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care.